Hi, my name's Trev Hutchings, and this is how to play the hidden sounds on the Roland Ax Edge, live. The first thing we need to do to get to the hidden sounds on the Roland Ax Edge is to press the menu right button. On the display now it should say Program Sound, then press the Enter button. Then press the right arrow button 5 times. Now you'll notice that the buttons in the program section 1 to 8 have now lit up red, and for this particular sound patch we've got button 1 flashing and we've got button 5 flashing. Now that's because the first 4 buttons represent which of the 4 tones that you can have in a sound patch is currently editable. In the display it says in the top right corner P1, and that is the first part, and that's why button 1 is flashing. Buttons 5 to 8 represent the same 4 parts or tones, and the reason I've only got 1 flashing is because only the first part or the first tone is active, so that's the only sound that's playing. The other 3 are not flashing because those sounds are not being used, so they're turned off. And in the display you can see that it says tone. In this particular occasion it says 0036, and below that it says tri-stack, which is the name of the tone, and in the right hand corner it says P1, which is the part we're playing at the moment. If I was to press button 2, it will now change to say P2 on here, and we will be editing the part 2 sound. But we want part 1, so I'm going to press back on button 1 to bring back part 1, because that's the one we want to edit. And in this case it's only got 1 part flashing, so 1 part editable. But I would suggest when you're adding or changing the tone that you make sure you turn off 6, 7 and 8. So 6, 7 and 8 are not flashing, so you only hear the 1 sound at a time. So I'm going to change this sound now. For this particular demo I'm going to change the sound to a distorted guitar sound, and I'm going to use patch number 0361. So what I need to do to get there is to press the minus or plus buttons, but to get there quickly, because it's quite away from the number I'm already at, which is only 0036, you can press the shift button and the plus button and it will go up through the numbers much quicker. Then when I get close, I'm just going to press the minus button because I've gone past, and now I've got my distorted guitar sound. Next I want to change the volume, so I'm going to press the right arrow once and that will take me to the volume screen, and it says tone P1 level 100, and if I press on the plus button I'll turn the volume up, and if I press on the minus button I can turn the volume down. So I'm just going to put that up to 110. Next, what I want to do is change the polyphony, because this particular sound is set in mono and the guitar I want in poly. So I'm going to press on the right arrow button once again, and this time I'm pressing it 3 times. So I've pressed the right arrow button 3 times and it gets me to this, and it says tone P1, and then it says mono poly tone underneath, and it's set to tone at the moment. So if I now press on the minus button I can set that back to poly, so it now says mono poly poly. So when I play now I get polyphonic. I get 2 notes. When I press 2 notes it plays 2 notes, not just 1. If I want to go on from that and say add a second sound, so I want to stack the sounds, I can then press on button 6 to activate the tone in part 2, and I'm going to turn part 1 off just for a second here. So I'm going to press on 5 to turn that off, and then I'm going to press on the button 2 to take me to part 2, and I'm going to press on the left arrow button 5 times to take me back to the tone patch. Was that 5 times? 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 4 times, so going back 4 buttons to get to there. And now I can change that tone, and by default it's on tone 1, and I want tone 0695. I'm just going to add that to what I'm doing here. Is I'm going to add a bass guitar to the electric guitar to give it some more oomph from below. So I'm going to press the shift button and the plus button to come shooting up through the numbers. So now I've got to 95, and that's my second tone, and I can play that. But that's in mono, and of course I'm playing the guitar in poly, so I need to change that as well. So I'm just going to click on the right arrow, and I've clicked on that 4 times. And that takes me back to the mono poly screen, and I'm going to click on the minus key here once again to turn it to poly, and that now plays in polyphonic. Now if I press on button 5, so I've got 2 flashing now, 5 and 6, I've now got the 2 tones together. If I turn 6 off, you can hear the difference. I probably want that sound a little bit louder, so I'm going to go back 3. So I've pressed on left arrow 3 times to get back to the tone level, and then I'm going to just press on the plus button to increase the sound of the second one, because I'm still flashing on 2, so I'm still editing 2. And that just gives it a slight extra kick. Now when I'm happy that I've got the sound patch that I want, I can save this, and to do that I need to press the shift button and the menu right button, and that'll take me into a new display. And at this display it's got the name, and it's still the old tri-stack lead. So I can change that name now by pressing, if I press the minus or plus buttons, I can change the first letter of the name. I'm not going to go crazy with this, just going to change a couple of letters. If I want to change the second letter, then I just press on the right arrow button, and that moves it to the second letter, and then I can just change that one. So I'm just going to do that quickly because I don't want to spend too much time on that. And then when you've got the name that you want to use, just press on the enter button, and it'll take you to this right 2, and then it says on here 129, because that's the patch I'm using at the moment. But if I want to use a different patch, which I do, I want to save to a different patch, you can then put the number in there. So once again, if you press on the plus, it will take you up. But if you want to move fast, I want to go quite right up to the other end, so I can press the shift and the buttons, and then I can choose the one I want to save to. So I'm chosen to save this to 831. These are the standard memories in here on these memory buttons, so you will be overwriting one of the patches that already exists on your machine. So choose one that you don't want to play again, and once you're happy with that, press on the enter button, and it will ask you, are you sure, in the way it says program right ? And then if you press on enter again, then it will get saved. And that's it. And now you've got the new sound programmed into your Roland Ax Edge, and you haven't had to use the editor at all. If you've enjoyed this video, do give us a thumbs up and click on that subscribe button. Cheers.